Let's start here, 1 John 4, 17 and 18. Love has been perfected among us in this. And after that colon in the grammar there, we see what the this is. So the perfection of love that happens among us equips us with a certain quality, John says, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Why will we have boldness? Well, this is kind of sandwiched between two thoughts. I have boldness because love is perfected among us, but it's the perfect love that gives me the boldness in the day of judgment. And the reason why perfect love matters is because as He is, so are we in this world. And this constitutes one of 1 John's most famous passages. 1 John 4:17, as He is, so are all of us in this world now. And so put all three of those together. Perfect love makes me bold no matter what the day of judgment holds. Okay, this is why I kind of closed in our discussion time last week of going, I don't know what the other side looks like, and I don't trust people that say they've got the other side, they know what the other side looks like, because we're not on the other side, and we don't get a ton of insight from the New Testament, but we do know that the Spirit holds us, the eternal Spirit. Eternal is the life of the heavens in us, and that isn't going anywhere. And so we know we must be going back to what James calls the Father of lights, in whom is no variableness or shadow of turning. If it's good and it's bright, it's God. And so where we go is in His presence. And whatever we got to go through over there, whatever that looks like, whatever day of judgment might mean, we're going to talk about what it might mean in a moment. But whatever it is, perfect love has made me aware that I'm okay. I'm bold. And the reason I can be bold is because as Jesus is, that's the way that I am in this world. There's no fear in that love. So go back to that perfected love. There's all kinds of love, but there's not all kinds of perfected love. There's all kinds of romance, there's all kinds of affection, there's all kinds of lust, there's all kinds of loyalty. You can define love a million ways. Perfect love, however, gives me a boldness that's out of this world. A day of judgment type of boldness, because I see myself the way I see Jesus, and that causes me to have no fear, because there's no fear in that kind of love, because perfect love casts out fear. Fear in relation to what? Context is king. Perfect love means I'm bold on the judgment day. No fear in love, perfect love casts out fear. Fear of what? Maybe it's the judgment day. I mean, contextually, he's talking about the same thing. I don't have to worry about whatever the other side of the spiritual river holds after I draw my last breath. My heart stops beating. Whatever the day of judgment looks like, I don't have to worry about that, because perfect love is in me, it casts out fear. Because fear involves torment. He who fears has not been made perfect in love. And this is the unfortunate part. Even when I read this, for the final time today, as I go, let me really lock this thing in. The sentence that jumped out at me. And I could tell that I've still got work to do in purging the lens, changing the lens, purging the way I see the text once in a while. The verse that jumped at me, the sentence, he who fears has not been made perfect in love. All I could do is see it through the lens of, well, you know what's wrong with people? And I don't like it when the first thing that comes to my mind is, do you know what's wrong with people? That's hey, Jesus, who sinned, this man or his parents? You know? And it's easy to be that guy. You know, what's wrong with this group? What's wrong with this ministry? What's wrong with this place? What's wrong with this country? What's wrong with that person? Instead of what's right with him, in them. That's a much different animal. That's a whole different shade of gospel than I've come up on. Maybe you too. So when I saw these verses, I couldn't help it. What jumped out at me is he who fears not been made perfect in love. You know what's wrong with people? If you're afraid, it's probably because you haven't experienced the perfect love of God. And so immediately you identify the negative. So this is as much to me as it is to anyone watching, and it's this thought. Let's not use this passage to condemn people. Let's use this passage to liberate people, and here's why. Because we are not sheriffs against fear, spotting it everywhere and arguing that people that don't know they are loved. In other words, you know what? Why you're afraid? You know why you're scared all the time? Because you don't know you're loved. And immediately having this theology, which is condemning. Because if I come to you and go, you know what your problem is? You know why you're so scared all the time? You don't know how loved you are. And you go, well, I'm trying. What do you want me to do? Really, I mean, what am I supposed to do to know how loved I am? You got a couple verses you want to throw my way? And of course we do. Yeah, I got a truck full of them. Doesn't help anybody know they're loved because you got some scriptures to toss at them. So rather than using it to lock people up, let's release them from what John calls the fear of torment, or better translated, the fear of punishment.